What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the IGN Live show from San Diego Comic-Con. I'm Greg Miller. Of course, you should know that. Follow me on Twitter. All that business. Well, we want you to be part of this show. Tweet at IGN, hashtag SDCC. And guess what? I might read your tweets out here on the air. I might be part of the show. I'm doing a lot of things. It'd be easier if I could clone myself. Just like the show Orphan Black. Hello, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen. Eric, you like that? I call him Gregways. My name's Greg. That's what I do. Eric, tell me a little bit about Orphan Black. Introduce the panel. What is going on?
We've got Tatiana, Jordan, Dylan here. Orphan Black, a show that I am obsessed with, and I know I'm not alone, and I'm sure here at Comic-Con you're hearing a lot about that obsession. So first and foremost, guys, what's it like coming here to Comic-Con on this sort of wave of fandom that's happening with this show?
It's insane. I mean, we've been seeing people dressed up as the different clones. We did 2 panels yesterday and got this kind of assault of love, and it was just amazing. It's been incredible. Yeah.
It's for us because this is kind of one of the biggest public forums we have ever addressed in terms of promoting the show and getting the word out about the show and the DVDs and everything. And it's pretty unreal to actually have people who've tuned in and they watched it, and because we're all sort of still in disbelief that anybody outside of our parents watches the show, right?
Yeah. And we're not going to get emotional right now, but
we did
at each one of our panels when we walked out, the kind of fan support and all the energy that was there, we all literally teared up.
And did you expect it when you were working on the show? Did you were about to hit on something huge?
We knew it was something special when we were working on it. I mean, you just read the scripts and you're like, this is amazing. I'm so lucky to be part of it. But we didn't know it was going to garner the kind of cult following that it has recently. But it's...
I kind of forgot that it was going to be seen by people. It's like, we're just doing this cool thing.
This is a fun class project.
Like an acting class kind of thing.
But that's kind of what it felt like. Is nobody else in the world was making a television series, and all these people had gotten together to just kind of work on an art project. And we knew that it was definitely something special on the page, but in terms of how it was going to translate, it was either going to be incredible or it was going to be disastrously bad.
I think that's what was exciting about it, too, is that the risk of doing a show this high concept and this kind of weird and not mainstream was, there's quite a bit of risk in that. So.
Well, it's funny, covering TV, it was interesting to see sort of how it went because the show premiered and there was some buzz and there was good reviews, but you really felt it just growing, and I felt like right as you were going into your finale, it was really starting to Twitter starts to become like all Orphan Black. Did you feel that too as the season progressed?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Twitter response and the Tumblr response, we were talking about Tumblr yesterday, the fan art that started to pop up.
It's amazing.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
and
so good.
The essays written about the show, kind of breaking it down and theorizing about it, that's when it, for me, really started to kind of be like,
Isn't that amazing,
people are actually watching.
Reading a blog about people's take on the show, and you're like, wow, I had no idea that's such an interesting take perspective that they took on the show that I never even would have thought of before.
And that someone takes the time to really sit there and be analytical and think, or takes the time to do a poster of fan art. That's that means so much that they're even remotely interested in something that we just kind of got together to create. That we just, maybe we should. That we were literally shaking about before the premiere. I think I went into the bathroom a couple of times, almost sick to my stomach because I was so nervous. We were all I was
the country.
Terrified. Yeah, he was under the bed. I was hiding in the bathtub.
You're like, if it doesn't go over well, I'm never coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gone.
Exactly.
Fortunately, it did go over well, though. Yeah. And Tatiana, what's it like hearing the response to your performance, or I should say, performances?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it feels, in a way, some of the stuff feels kind of like it's outside of me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's something we did, almost feels like a lifetime ago, kind of. So to have this kind of critical response to the performance is amazing. But I'm just kind of you try to put it to the side so you can focus on the work. We're going back into second season, and it's not about all that stuff, right? Mm-hmm. It's how do we develop the characters even further? How do we explore them even further? And I try to forget about that stuff, or else it gets too. You can get wrapped up in it. You
become a diva.
You become a diva.
I'm playing 3 people on the show. I need 3 changes.
That's the exact opposite of diva.
Tat's idea of being a diva is like asking for a glass of water
Yeah.
Even if
Which
it
I
had,
got.
I'm a little parched. Can I have a glass of water?
and then she'll
Diva.
apologize.
She
when
hooked
it
us all
comes.
up. By the way.
I got y'all all water.
Is this spa water? It tastes like cucumbers.
Oh yeah, well, we're here, live at the Hard
It's
Rock. It's
delightful.
only
That was
only the
really
finest.
Only the finest.
You guys have
Yeah.
the best water out of any booth that
We like to boast about that here at IGN.
I keep getting distracted by that.
Don't look at yourself.
Nobody knows
Oh my
that.
God, it's my bad profile.
Is that really what I look like?
I'm literally like, as I'm talking to you, out of my peripherals, I'm like, don't smile too big. You're cheating.
Well, I remember, Jordan, Tatiana, I talked to you guys right before the show was, a couple months before the show premiered, and we talked a lot about sort of the technical side of shooting the scenes with multiple U's.
Yeah.
But then it's like, when I was asking that, it's like, it's easy for me to kind of forget about the fact that you also have to approach it. I have to play multiple characters with very different motivations, very different backgrounds. Is that an extra challenge of both having to hit strange marks because they have to do special effects and think about where you are at with each of these characters?
Totally, and that's I think the biggest challenge for me is being present and exploring and being playful and spontaneous in a very structured and technical kind of forum. You know what I mean? Because I do have to look, here instead of there, right? So it's finicky little kind of minutia, but also going, okay, but screw all that, and like, what am I actually trying to do to that other person, and who am I, and where am I coming from? That's totally the
It's
big
like
challenge.
this wicked little dichotomy. It's like such a
Yeah.
contradiction because the whole technical process is so counterintuitive to what we do and like what we're
Yeah.
trying to do, but it's neat.
I think that's what lots of film and TV
Oh,
is
yeah.
for
Yeah.
actors. You're meant to be kind of spontaneous and playful, but you better do it within this kind of hit this mark.
We're
on
going to
this
put
line.
you in like the
Yeah.
most artificial circumstance you can possibly imagine, and then you have to pretend like it's not.
And be
It's
authentic.
definitely extreme practice
Yeah.
and imagination.
Yeah.
Use your imagination. Yeah.
Totally.
So let's talk about gentlemen, your characters. Dylan, he was a man of mystery
Yes.
all
he's,
season.
he's still a man of mystery.
Still a man of mystery.
Still a man
We
of
got
mystery.
we got some important info about him at the end of the season.
Right, little bits, little breadcrumbs, if you will.
At this point, should Sarah be okay? He's here. He's going to help me, or is there still reasons to think?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I think it's
Nope,
still,
not going to do that.
it's still 50-50. I mean, I've talked to the writers a little bit, and they really won't tell me anything, but they're like, where's the direction that we're going to take Paul's character in season 2? And they're like, good, bad, I don't know. So
They're so cagey.
they're so cagey, and it's wherever they're going to take him, I'm sure it's going to be brilliant, but he's on the fence with helping her or saving his own behind. So it's kind of 50-50 right now.
And then, Jordan, obviously you have this family bond, your characters, as far as, being foster siblings. How is he processing, you think, all this insanity that his sister has brought into his
God.
life?
Insanity like the workout.
Just like the workout.
Yeah.
I think there's sort of this, being the younger brother, and I can kind of relate to this because I have 2 older sisters, there's this willingness to just follow your older sibling. Whenever they say, do this, do that, you're like, okay, yeah, because you so badly want to keep that connection clean, to keep them in your life, to keep them, and Felix, one of his biggest fears is being alone. So I think that he's sort of been strung along, and he's going along and going along and going along, and I think he's getting tired. That was where I was going near the end of the first season, where we all kind of made little conscious choices with hair and makeup as well, and wardrobe to start stripping the characters down, because you have to realize that it's been an incredible, like, horrific experience for all of them, between Kira and the accident and Helena and Rachel and everybody, and I think he's sort of on his last nerve. And that's, I think, where we're going to start off when it's, we've had this huge revelation at the end of the season, at the end of the first season, and I think that he's a little fed up.
The more we hear about sort of how big this whole thing is and how more people are involved, and Mrs. S making references to things in the past, I keep waiting for a door to open and another you to come out.
If it ever, there's always, everything's been discussed, and when John and Graham they discuss everything, like every option, clones from God knows where, but they will not say with certainty to anybody what their plans are for the future.
And you mentioned Mrs. S. How great is Maria Dole?
Yeah, she was major props. And Kevin and Inga.
And one of those characters where at first you think she's kind of... At first you thought she was kind of on the side, but then it turned out...
I know. What a twist at the end of the season, too. I mean, I literally, it was like... I needed to smoke a cigarette after reading that last script, and I don't even smoke. I was like, oh my God, woo! Amazing.
Well, Tatiana, I know you get asked this, and I'm sure and actually this question is for all of you though. But do you have a favorite clone? And I'm sure you're seeing here at Comic-Con a lot of people expressing to you their favorites.
Yeah, there's been a lot of Helenas walking around, or Helenas as Beth.
Helena,
my wife, you scare my wife a lot when you play.
Really?
By the way,
when you guys mention
Casima,
Casima, there's usually a loud uproar as well.
Yeah,
it seems to be Casima seems to be pretty popular.
Yeah.
God, I don't know. I'm excited about Rachel.
Oh, yeah.
I have to say, because she's scary to me, and
I'm
she's
excited about
really,
Rachel. She is, gosh dang gorgeous.
Dylan's measure of how exciting or impressive a clone is like how
gosh dang
gorgeous
they are. Like when he first met Allison, he's like,
I was like, oh my God.
She's in yoga pants.
I would totally date Allison.
well, but Casima's got that that geek cute thing happening.
Tattoos.
Right.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, I don't know.
Poor Sarah never gets any love from any. It's always Casima.
This is Sarah's life, though. That's her life. She's like, oh, of course.
It's a life she
splashier clothes.
She has to be the neutral, boring area, right?
Yeah.
The crazy.
I don't know.
She's like
boring.
She's like the center.
Yeah.
Boring, sir.
You know what? It's been a lovely set.
A lot of insane things are happening around Sarah, though.
Yes.
She's got to process that.
She's like the kind of really rocky pillar in a storm.
That's better.
Right.
Yeah. The boring one.
She's got to be the one who stands tall. She has to be the
And Paul thinks she's dang sexy. So
There you go.
And at this point, we've gotten so used to you doing all of these accents. Is that come natural to you, or is it you have to sit and be like, okay, now I have to play this character who might be there kind of brief? We met the German version very very briefly, and just think, is that something that comes natural or not for you?
I mean, I love languages, and I've always spoken to other languages, and my mom's a translator, so she's linguistic, and those sounds have always been around, but it is a huge challenge. I mean, I think for both of us, stepping into another dialect means a shift in where you came from, a shift in the culture, how you express yourself.
Socioeconomic status.
In the UK, there's so many different dialects just based on region and based on neighborhood and based on city. So and it says so much about you. So it's a lot of work, and we have a dialect coach that is so amazing.
Yeah, and it's a testament to both of them because literally they have to memorize so many lines. And when they're on screen, like if they don't hit a certain word correctly or pronounce it correctly, the dialect coach, they will cut and you'll come in and tell them to pronounce it this way. So they have that in their head, not only that, but also what their character motivation is in the scene and trying to memorize their lines. And both of them, just kill it. It's really...
That's fun.
And no, it's amazing to watch. I'm in awe of both of you guys.
I picture the dialect coaching him with a big ruler.
Yeah, exactly.
But also on this show, I imagine just a grid with all the characters and which dialect you have to...
Yeah, right.
There's one person toiling over. It's like, who's doing what?
Today's a German day.
Dialect, your accent will give you end up discovering things too, just through the accent. That's one of the most exciting parts. And for me, I'm doing one consistently, but for you, it must be interesting where the voice comes from, where that accent comes from, how it sort of tastes in your mouth.
Tension, held in different places.
Exactly, because that's good tension.
Oh, you know what I mean? Because the UK thing is so open.
Yeah.
And North Americans speak quite... Sorry, we're
very
geeking out about dialects. Just give us
You guys, you can do the rest of the show.
In other news, there was an explosion today.
Of excitement.
Excuse me.
I'm expecting something really depressing.
What you're trying to do earlier. Tatiana, we have a question for you from Twitter. Remember, be part of the show. Tweet at IGN, #SDCC. Question is from RIP Corey. That's sad. When filming, do you do all the parts for one clone first, or do you go back and forth?
When you're filming, do you do all parts?
I think you said you'd have to do coverage-wise. You're gonna just shoot Casima, and then,
So if we do a 3 clone scene, let's say we start the day as Allison, and then we get started into the scene, and I'll start as Allison. And usually I like to start at whoever's kind of driving the scene, but we don't always get to do that. And then I do like an hour and a half change. I do all of Helena's never been in a scene with Allison. All of.
Oh my God, that would have been. If that happened, that would have been amazing.
That would be she's talking. I haven't even read the scripts. I don't know what I'm talking about. And then we'll do all of Sarah's coverage, and then switch over an hour and a half. Do all of Casima's coverage. So it's pretty nuts, but it is always in just chunks of those characters.
You've alluded to the fact that your producers have not told you a lot about season 2, which starts filming in September, so you have a little while. But anything, any hints, any little morsels?
As this guy, he sits in the writers'
We're
room.
going to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
Hit the ground running.
Jeez, I like
And
that.
I think it's also like, the writers have done this amazing thing where they've made it really hard to get out of the situations that all the clones are in. Like, they don't, they
kind of painted
out,
themselves
like,
into a corner on purpose because they want to see how they can get themselves out, because you always have the most, according to the writers anyways, I'm no writer, but they always seem to have the most fun when they sort of box themselves in and then have to creatively box themselves.
Just expect more twists and turns and a lot of mind fracks.
Mind fracks.
Good word to use here in San Diego.
Battlestar Galactica.
Gentlemen, lady, thank you so much for being here. Eric, when can people see the show?
Well, Orphan Black obviously is currently on hiatus, but I was going to say that one thing I absolutely love that you guys did with this show that BBC America has done is make it readily available. So when everyone's talking about it, it is now out on Blu-ray and DVD.
You have no excuse.
BBC
July
America
16th.
and Space.
And Space.
And Temple Street.
And Temple
We're
Street.
Amazing.
So there's a lot of ways to watch this,
DVD.
a lot of ways to catch up on this great show.
Yeah.
You guys will also be doing a signing at the BBC America booth today at 4:30 to see more of your fans.
Yay.
Thanks a lot, guys. Love the show, and
Thanks
you
for
will
having
too
us.
if you haven't seen it.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're not watching Orphan Black, you really don't have a good life. But of course, don't start watching it until the live stream ends. We'll be right back with it.
Oh, really?
Thanks,
Thank you, guys.